Hello, I'm Lisa Jewell, author of 13 novels. My latest novel is set in a communal garden in central London, not unlike the one I'm standing in at the moment. It's about 3 families and their children and the relationships between them. And it's particularly about what happens one hot summer's night when one of the children is found attacked in the garden, and it's about what actually happened to that child, who was responsible, and the impact that that event has on everybody living around the garden square. The garden in the novel is clearly not based entirely upon the garden in which I live. I couldn't replicate it detail for detail. So what I did was I used elements of this garden, blended with, in fact, elements of the garden up the road where my husband grew up, coincidentally, which is similar in that it's an open space in urban London, but it's much more ornamental with huge white stucco houses. So I blended aspects of both gardens together to create a fantasy garden. The inspiration for the central dark story came from a very specific moment a couple of summers ago when I was sitting in my back patio on a very warm summer's night. It was about 9 o'clock and we were thinking of putting the children to bed when a neighbour appeared at our back gate and said they were putting a tent up in the communal garden for some of the children to have a sleep out. And that was the first time I'd had a moment of discomfort. And it was interesting to me that I'd reached a point, a line that I didn't know had existed up until that point. So I really wanted to explore what lay on the other side of that line, the worst case scenario, something actually did go wrong. I think I am a very curious person naturally. I don't think I've ever sat next to someone and found them boring, well, at least not for less than about half an hour, because every single person you speak to has got something interesting to tell you about themselves. It's just a matter of obviously asking the right questions and making that person feel comfortable. I don't make notes as such. It all just filters through, and then I guess that's how when I sit down to write a new character, it's all just there because I've been squirreling it away as I've gone through my day-to-day life. My favourite thing about being a published writer, I think, is the way that the process has so many distinctive moments in it. You can go from, as you might imagine, sitting alone in your pyjamas, typing on a computer, to being filmed in your communal garden for a video, to going to a book launch party, to sitting with your editor, going through your manuscript. But I think ultimately, and I think a lot of authors feel the same way, you absolutely cannot beat the moment that your manuscript has been turned into a book and you can put it in your hands for the first time. And that's now happened to me 13 times, and every single time it really does get me, because it's just a huge moment and a real sense of achievement.